Right then, let's have a look at the player ratings for Manchester United against Southampton. Starting in goal with Andre Onana. I think the penalty save was huge. It was a weak penalty from Archer, but it was such a pivotal, crucial moment in the game. He made 3 real key saves overall, but that one from a penalty, I think, absolutely flipped the game. I don't know what it was mentally, but Southampton totally switched off following that. He had that one from Diblin's curling effort, which was a right good shot from him in the opening minutes. Distribution was solid. Commanded his box nice. It's an 8 out of 10 performance if ever I saw one from Onana. In the back line then, Dalot. Now Dalot, I mentioned this on my review last night, and I mentioned this on 5 Things, and I'm seeing so many comments hammering Dalot. Yes, Diblin rinsed him. Yes, he gave away the penalty, which ultimately wasn't scored. But he was also involved in more than anybody else, in everything. 95 touches. I think he had 72 out of 75 passes, something along those lines. Got an assist for Garnacho, made 5 clearances, won 9 duels. He was busy. Now, he struggled. I think that's fair to say. But he was busy, and he wasn't bad. I just think he struggled with Diblin a little bit. So I'm going to say 7 out of 10 for Dalot. And I know some people are going to disagree with that one. But I just think he was involved in so much for United that I think it elevates his rating to at least a 7. If he hadn't have given away a penalty and he hadn't have got beat for that early shot, it's an 8 out of 10 performance. So I think, those 2 things bring it down a notch. De Ligt. This is a 9 out of 10. This is a straight 9 out of 10. He was the standout performer, regardless of the goal, which was a nice header right after the penalty, which was the turning point of the game. From there, it was only going to be United's game. Defensively, he was absolutely rock solid. He made 10 clearances. He blocked 6 shots, even cleared 1 off the line. He won 6 out of 8 duels. He demonstrated some real aerial dominance. His pass accuracy was 92%, and he also managed to find people with some decent long balls as well. It was just like a genuine, complete performance. It was aggressive. It was physical. There was quality in what he did, and there's a pure calm and assurance about how he operates at the back. He's had a great start to life at Manchester United, and I think a goal and man of the match on the road, clean sheet. He's going to be the happiest man in Manchester this weekend, and he should deserve to be as well. Alongside him, Martinez. Martinez had a quiet game, but he was an effective presence, as he always is, in the team, and a positive impact. 58 out of 60 passes completed, 97%. Just shows you that this guy just wakes up and just lives his life composed. He won all 4 of his ground duels. He made 7 clearances. His positioning and awareness are crucial. And he's so good and calm on the ball. I love him. I think he's a real cult hero at Manchester United. And I need to know if he's going to be injured again, because that's terrifying to me, because he's such a good player and we are such a good team. The partnership that he's forming with De Ligt is genuinely top. I'm not going to start comparing it to Rio and Vidic yet, because they have to win things before they get the honour of being compared to that sort of partnership. But it looks good, doesn't it? As a basis, we've seen it for a few games. It looks really good. And I can't wait to see what we can build on with them at the back. Mazraoui. Again, Mazraoui, I think he's just a really good, really intelligent footballer. It was a solid showing from him, defensively and offensively. Involved with 60 touches, created a couple of chances, linked up really nice with Ahmad down that right-hand side. You can just tell that they're starting to build a bit of a wavelength together. He had one shot which he dragged wide, made a couple of tackles, composed, just solid performance. Really like what he brings to Manchester United. Really enjoy having him in the team. And just a great addition, great signing for absolute peanuts. What a signing he's been. Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen was I think it'd be fair to say he was a shock inclusion, wasn't it? Nobody thought Christian Eriksen was getting a start. The whole argument was, is Casemiro going to start? Is Ugarte going to start? Meanwhile, Christian Eriksen comes in and just delivers a Christian Eriksen level performance. He was a clear influence from set pieces, obviously provided the short corner that led to De Ligt's goal, completed 40 out of 43 passes, created 2 real big chances. He did fade a little bit in the second half, but that's to be expected because no one's looking at Christian Eriksen as a player at the moment and thinking 90-minute ball of energy. That's not his game. But he came in and he had a real good playmaking performance that kept United ticking. I was quite surprised at just how good he looked, knowing that we'd probably be without the ball, and we were for that first half an hour for so long in the game. It really didn't feel like it was the kind of game that would suit Christian Eriksen. But meanwhile, 7 out of 10 performance. Menu. I thought Manu looked a little bit lost in this game. Not as impactful as he has been previously. Now, didn't really do much long. 49 out of 58 passes, 88%. Won 9 of his 14 duels. Chipped in defensively with 5 tackles and a couple of interceptions. There was some energy and there was some positive stuff that helped control midfield, especially after the penalty save. And he made nice patterns and made decent runs. Didn't run as far forward, probably because he was alongside Eriksen and was given a little bit of extra defensive duties. But it was unspectacular from him. One of the quieter games I've seen him have. So 6.5 out of 10, I think, for Cobby. Bruno. Now, Bruno and Marcus, and I'm not surprised at either of these because our fan base has got a weird fetish with criticising 2 of our better players. Although, Marcus hasn't been that for a while. But Bruno got a lot of stick yesterday. Now, I thought it was an energetic performance. He had a very high pass completion rate for him. He had an 85% pass completion, 35 out of 41 passes. He competed defensively, was involved in loads of duels, made 4 tackles, cut about the place nice, and, got an assist for Delit's opener with an unbelievable delivery. I don't get this obsession with just hating on Bruno. He adds a lot to Manchester United. He's not perfect, for sure. But when he plays well, typically United end up going and getting a victory. And his stats that he's contributed, goals and assists that he's contributed since joining the club are absolutely ridiculous. They stand up to anybody's. I thought it was a solid performance from Bruno. Not quite man of the match levels. There was other gears for other players to go through, but I think he was above average. I'm going to say 7.5 out of 10 for him. Ahmad. A little bit like Mazraoui. When I look at Ahmad, I just go, it's just a really good footballer. Very intelligent, makes great decisions with the ball. He was lively throughout the game. He had 6 key passes. That means he made 6 goal-scoring opportunities. Gets an assist for Rashford's goal. His link play from midfield was sharp. He had 51 out of 57 passes. His feet and his creativity caused all sorts of problems for Southampton's defence. And I would argue that the link-up that he's building with Mazraoui, it seems like going down the right-hand side is quite a potent option for United. And that hasn't been the case since Antonio Valencia, I don't feel. It feels like United, since we signed Pogba at least, and possibly even beforehand, it just felt like everything United have done, since Luke Shaw and Pogba, we've just kind of gone down the left. We haven't really gone down the right at all. So it'd be nice for us to actually go down the right a little bit. But those 2 are nice, and they're intelligent. They keep the ball fantastic. They don't make bad decisions with it. And it was good play from the pair of them. But I think Diallo just stepped it up just that little bit. And if he fancied shooting, he'll start adding goals to his tally as well. But that was an 8 out of 10 performance, I thought, yesterday from Diallo. If he'd have scored, he might have been in contention for man of the match. Rashford. Again, like I said, just been getting all sorts of grief for him, but ended his goal drought. Really well placed shot from the edge of the box. Clearly gave him a little bit of confidence because he carried on shooting a little bit. Ended up with 3 shots on target. Improved movement. Improved sort of work rate from him as well. Contributed defensively, won 5 duels. Didn't really lose the ball too much as well. I thought it was a solid performance from him. It played with a little bit more confidence and risk as we've seen him. And I hope now that goal pushes him on and we see a lot more confident Marcus starting to really attack defences and get at them, because I think when you look at our forward line, who's capable of getting 20 plus goals, I think it is Rashford out of that forward line. So we're going to need him. So I would like to see him now kick on from that. Xerxes. Again, several chances that he failed to convert. Probably should have done better. Missed a couple of big opportunities. But despite that, he was heavily involved in the build-up play, and his passing and build-up play was real nice. Completed 23 out of 28 passes, won 4 of his duels, and I think him coming away from that defensive line just a little bit into that little pocket of space where Bruno kind of operates sometimes, but you see Bruno sometimes slingshot him, you see sometimes him come short for him, and they kind of play in a little bit of a space where sometimes you'll expect to see one player, but you don't really expect to see 2 players. And then having the runs of Marcus on the other side to be able to switch it to, I think was very effective for us. His build-up play is nice. He does need to start scoring some goals. Once he starts scoring some goals, I'm sure he's going to be happy days. But it was a decent performance from him. 7 out of 10. He'd have got an 8 if he'd have scored. And then off the bench, Garnacho, doing what he's done kind of all season, coming on, making an impact off the bench, and contributing with a goal. And, he showed some decent composure, finished off a real nice move, scored from Dalot's cutback, but also drew the foul that led to the red card, which I can't believe people are trying to defend. Howson versus this week's going to look into that because some people are saying it was not a red card. It was an absolutely nailed-on red card, and I can't believe people would even try and argue otherwise, to be honest with you. 7 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10, actually, for Garnacho. Maguire, brought on to just shore it up afterwards. Again, don't know the injury situations going on there, but brought on late to shore up the defence. Was very solid. Didn't really have a lot to do, but completed all 14 of his passes. So 7 out of 10. Johnny Evans, again, like Maguire, subbed on late. Made 2 clearances, passed the ball well under a little bit of pressure. 6 out of 10. And then I'm not going to give Casemiro a rating because he brought on a little bit too late to do anything. Made 2 passes. Saw the win out with us. I think Ugarte made his Premier League debut, completed all of his passes, looked good in defence. You could see the presence and energy that he's going to bring. I liked it. Nice little cameo there from him. 7 out of 10. And then the gaffer. I think he got his tactics spot on. He navigated a potentially tricky fixture by keeping the team organised and composed, riding out that first 30 minutes of quite real pressure that we had from Southampton, made decent substitutions that all kind of went on and impacted the game in some way. And I think he just got it right. United's ability to control possession, keep a clean sheet, clearly shown that there was good balance in there. The decision to bring in Eriksen was one that none of us thought of, but was an excellent decision. He now has alleviated some of the pressure that was undeniably on him. If he'd have gone 3 consecutive losses 5 games into the season, you can say you're behind the manager and you can be behind the manager, but you can't deny there would have been pressure on the manager, and we have no idea what Ineos's sort of decision-making's like when it comes to getting rid of managers because we haven't seen it yet. All we've seen is them, literally 2 months ago, back the guy and then sign a load of players for him. He would have undoubtedly been under pressure. Now, that victory doesn't mean that he's safe and he's definitely sticking around for the next 5 years. He has to now build on that, as do some of the players with them performances. Like Marcus, he scored. Now you got to go build on that because that still isn't enough, really. We need more from that. We need more from them performances and we need consistency with that. And it's the same with the gaffer. If he goes and wins the next 5 or 6 games, the talk of him getting the sack will go away. But if we go out of the cup on Tuesday and then we don't beat Palace at the weekend, well, that talk's right back again, and it might even be louder this time. Because then it looks like the Southampton performance was an outlier. Now, I give him an 8 out of 10 for yesterday's performance. I thought he did very well. His decisions were clearly correct. But now we need to see from him and the team a level of consistency and keep this level of control. If United go and play like that, 8 out of 10 weeks, we'll be in a good position and we'll beat a lot of teams. That was nice to see. It was enjoyable. And if anything, a little boring because it was a bit easy for us in the second half. But I'll take that rather than the absolute carnage that we saw last season. But yeah, that's what I thought. Please give me your opinions, whether you agree or disagree. You're allowed. It's football. It's about opinions. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.